It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This year, the only app you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Download FanDuel now so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with a no-sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
The Buffalo Sabres throw the bag at Dylan Cozens, so it's time to take a look at who the best young player in the game is, 22 or under. Let's get after it. Thank you for joining us.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fantasy fanatics, hockey heads, and degenerate gamblers, welcome back to your show. It's the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. We are always free and available across all platforms you find your favorite and hottest content. That's Monday to Friday, baby. So make sure you tuned and tapped into the show. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today to get started. Steele, we love our countdowns. We love our top fives. We love to take a look at some of the best players in the game. But for me, we're going to get to big-time bets. We know that. Today's episode is focused, and we're kicking this off of the Dylan Cozens news. Let's be clear. Big-time signing out of the Buffalo Sabres, securing a big piece of their future. But talking about the young players in the game when it comes to fantasy really kind of gets the blood going for fantasy GMs because you can set yourself up on easy street if you can peg some of these young studs. And obviously, the guys we're talking about today, you're not going out there on the waiver wire. You're not going to get them cheap. If you want these players on your team and you don't have them, you're going to be paying a premium price for how good they are. By the way, thank you for making us your first listen every single day. Almost forgot that one, Steele. You and I know we have some of the same players on this list, but I'm intrigued to hear who are your top 5 players in the game, 22 or under. Dylan Cozens, the big news, kicking it off. Maybe let's start there with that 7-year deal, $49 million for the youngster up the middle.
Yeah, absolutely incredible deal for Dylan Cozens. He's having a career year right now, 22 years old. And this is a great time to talk about some young stars in the league because, looking in the future, the next decade, as well as, next year's fantasy draft and keeper leagues, you want to be drafting these type of players and keep them on your team for as long as possible and as long as they're successful. But Dylan Cozens, like you said, secures the bag right there with Bo Horvat. Very, very great deal for both those guys. But Cozens, 7 years, $7.1 million deal with the Buffalo Sabres. And I was taking a look at Cap Friendly of the NHL, looking at the Buffalo Sabres roster and what their team's contracts are like right now. I think the only one that's really hurting them is the Jeff Skinner contract, $9 million for the next 4 years. He's age 30 right now. He's still playing great. He's playing great hockey, but not
that's
worth
a pricey number. Yeah,
not worth $9 million. Kyle Okposo is at $6 million on the last year of his contract, so that's going to be ended at next year.
That's huge.
But I'm looking at the contracts and Cozens. You signed Cozens and Tage Thompson for $7.1 million. Locked up till 2030. That is absolutely incredible. Kevin Adams is a god right now for signing these two players to those contracts. Look, he basically was just like, I was 100% right on Tage Thompson and taking the chance and signing him. Let me show you again. I'm going to double down here and sign Dylan Cozens to the same, almost the same exact contract extension. And Cozens is a great player. There's so much to love about his game. He can score. His hands are silky smooth. He's a gritty physical player who's not afraid to drop the gloves as well. You like seeing that as a 22-year-old. And again, just looking at their roster right now and their contracts, they've got 4 other players on entry-level contracts right now. So that gives them a little bit of wiggle room to go into the offseason and address the needs they need to address for their future. And Eric Comrie and Craig Anderson are not going to be the goalies that they continue with. So obviously, I think they should be targeting some goalies in the offseason, which, again, is kind of hard to come by right now because of how, I guess, older some of the goalies are right now and how scarce it is in the league.
Goaltending market is thin, yeah.
It is very thin right now. So I like the Buffalo Sabres team. They're locking up their guys. They're going to have to lock up Dowling at some point in the next year or so. And this team is going to be, the Buffalo Sabres are going to be a legitimate threat for many years to come. It might take 1 or 2 more years to be a legit threat consistently, but they're on their way.
3 things I want to say very quickly before we get into our top 5 fantasy studs, 22 years or under, and we'll get to big time bets, of course, for this juicy 7-game Thursday board. We're getting there. Kevin Adams, number 1. Thank you for mentioning it. He deserves a lot of credit. This is a guy whose NHL career was a bottom sixer, 4th-line grinder, and he's really proving his hockey worth in the front office. Kudos to him, number 1. Number 2, Dylan Cozens' work ethic is another thing that really impresses me. This is a guy who grinds, and he has the offensive talent. So when a guy is committed to both ends of the puck, and he can score and has the skating ability that I see from Dylan Cozens, yeah, could it be better? Sure. He's still a young player, Steele, 22 years old, and that's why we're going to talk about these players. They're just getting warmed up in their NHL career, and I think Dylan Cozens is coming a long way in a short period of time. And number 3, what you said, spot on. So many good young pieces with this Buffalo Sabres team. You and I have been saying this for a full calendar year now. So pay attention to what's going on with the Buffalo Sabres, and it's going to be a nice segue to one of my honorable mentions that I'll get to at the end of the show. In the crease for the Buffalo Sabres as a top young player in UPL. I'll talk about that at honorable mention time. But why don't I throw it back to you, Steele, for your number 5 pick? Top 5 players 22 years or under in the NHL today.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough question, but one that I really enjoy having with you and answering so we can give some insight to people out there. And obviously, let us know what you think about this top 5 list for both Flip and I. Leave some comments on the channel. Let us know who would be in your top 5, what we got right, what we got wrong. But my honorable mentions are a few guys that we've talked quite a bit about. Cole Caulfield, Trevor Zegras, Dylan Cozens are in my honorable mentions. You know, my number 5 as of right now, he's been incredible to watch this season. He looks like he hasn't missed a step, even though he's a rookie. Matty Beniers of the Seattle Kraken is at the number 5 spot for me, and I put him ahead. I put him ahead of Trevor Zegras, Cole Caulfield, and Dylan Cozens. More so that, like what you said, there's a little bit of a one-dimensional game for Cole Caulfield and Trevor Zegras, which I've seen Matty Beniers kind of does a lot more than they do. He played 10 games last year. He had 9 points. He's played, almost close to 50 games, I think, this year. 48 games. He's 46 games around there.
Like
17 goals, 36 points in his rookie season. And he's been very, very good. Very consistent. 98 shots, 35 blocks, 60 hits as a rookie as well is very impressive. He's been, I would say, maybe the biggest key alongside Andrei Burakovsky and the step-out season of Vince Dunn as well of their success this year. Offensively, for sure. I would say the one thing that he does need to work on, or 2 things that he needs to work on, is one is because he's a centerman, he needs to work on his face-offs a little bit. He's at 43% right now. But another thing he needs to work on is his puck control. He gives the puck up a little bit too much than I would like to see right now. Obviously, he's still a rookie. He's 20 years old. There's a lot more room to develop and grow his game. But the puck control has been a bit of an issue this year for Matty Beniers.
Good point.
He gets battled off the puck way too easily. He gets maybe a little bit too frantic when guys are closing in on him. But other than that,
come with time.
He's only 20 years old right now. So that will come with time. That's the one little thing that he needs to work on for me. But that's why he's at number 5.
And honestly, Steele, I was impressed that we were so on point with our list when we quickly mentioned them before we jumped on. We don't even usually do that. We just leave it for the, baptism by fire here right on the episode, and we'll just give her. But I think to me, Trevor Zegras, Dylan Cozens, Matty Beniers, they were all there on the fringe of this list. Honorable mentions, Matty Beniers. Dylan Cozens, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in Buffalo. Honestly, I know the numbers aren't there overall, but over his last few starts, he's looked really good. And what I've seen from this goaltender, Steele, and this is just my take, so I'm going to stick with it. 13-6 and 2, 3.30 goals against, not great. 900 save percentage, not great, but he's getting wins, and this Buffalo Sabres team is not the greatest on the back end. No, he doesn't deserve to be in the top 5, but when you're looking at goalies, I don't see many other his age or younger that are worth a look. So make sure you're paying attention. And number 5, very quickly, Trevor Zegras. You banged it out. One-dimensional player, but for me, one that special offensive talent, for me, just has me wanting more. And the reason why is how bad the Anaheim Ducks are. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If he's on even any other team, like let's say maybe swap Cole Caulfield and Trevor Zegras, and let me see what Trevor Zegras can do with Nick Suzuki. I have a feeling Trevor Zegras has got 60, 65 points already this season. That might be bold, but Trevor Zegras' upside on the offensive side, yes, one-dimensional for sure. You know, he doesn't hit a lot. He doesn't get a lot of block shots, penalty minutes, because he's been a little bit of a whiner lately. He's getting those. But the special offensive talent, too much upside, Steele, that I don't want to give up on him yet. Don't give up on the rest of our lists. 4 through 1, we're going to get there. Big time bets coming up for the 7-game Thursday night board. But you know we got to pay these bills, baby. And it's Super Bowl season. So we're talking about our friends at FanDuel. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And this year, the only app you need at your Super Bowl party is FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And we are beyond excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On, because they are the #1 sports book in America. That's FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports even more fun and easy than it already is. Download FanDuel now so you can bet on Super Bowl 57 with a no-sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't hit. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from the money line to the point spreads to whoever will score a first touchdown. Steele and I are going back and forth on this first touchdown. Travis Kelce, Jalen Hurts, I don't know, but we're going to be betting it on FanDuel. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. And best of all, you get your money paid out instantly. That's what I love. You win a little bit of cash, Steele. Before the wobbly pops take in, you cash out. Join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no-sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
This is Dane Lewis from the Locked On Stars podcast, here to let you know the following message brought to you by Discover. Did you know that you could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection, the latest innovation from Discover? Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data, and they'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app and see terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. We appreciate all the love, all the support you guys show us out there, all of our listeners. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button on your favorite podcast platform. Catch us Monday through Friday throughout the week, 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. We're going to continue on this list of the top 5 talented superstar players in the NHL right now, 22 years old or younger. My 4 through 3 guy, the number 4 and number 3 guy that I have on my list, I think they could be interchangeable. This is just how I put them.
Okay, hit me with both.
At number 4, Tim Stutzle. He could be up at number 3 for most people. I have him at number 4. He's got 49 points in 46 games this season. And you look, I know you're a huge fan of his. I'm getting there. I am a fan of his. You are getting there. I just, again, I don't think he gets to 80 points at the season. Can he get to 80 points? It's possible. It's a maybe. It's going to be very
Our bet's still going, baby.
It's still going. We're going to have to get the Locked On Sens boys on here again when he does get to 80. But look, the one thing that really surprised me about Stutzle's game so far is how physical he is. I didn't think that a star, especially a young star in this league, would be as physical as Tim Stutzle is. He throws his weight around. It's really great to see. You don't really see that from stars in the league. You know, we're just starting to see it from Austin Matthews this year. You don't see it from Mitch Marner. You don't see it from Willie Nylander, Connor McDavid, Jason Robertson. Those type of guys don't throw their weight around. Even Tage Thompson, who's like 6'3", 220, doesn't throw his weight around, but Stutzle does, and that's really great to see in his game at such a young age.
Isn't Thompson like 6'7"? Like the man's bigger even.
He's
still not throwing the body, so good point.
He's massive, but look, Tim Stutzle's playmaking and vision ability is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Again, does he get to 80 points? I'm not sure. The one reason that I have him at number 4 on this list, it's his plus minus. It's terrible. He's -8 on the year, which is getting better, but he's -53 in the total of his 3 NHL seasons so far in the league.
Yeah.
Obviously, he plays for a Senators team that is not great defensively, but he's a part of the team. He's a part of the reason.
It's true.
For that sole reason, that's why he's at number 4.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is I've been on here talking up players plus minus as a decent indication of what's going on. And even though it's not the greatest stat, and I'd actually kind of disagree a little bit with you in terms of that number here for this player, but he is a part of the team and he has to wear that number. And in categorical leagues, that's a factor that you have to consider when taking players. That's just a fact. And Tim Stutzle for me, and one of the things that I think is most underrated about his game is his shot. I think he needs to shoot the puck a lot more. And I know he's at 125 shots this season. Just checking in last year. Where was he last year? Shots attempted last year, 313. And this year he's already at 242. I think he needs to continue to shoot the puck a lot more. Last year he finishes with 176 shots. That's my underrated part of Tim Stutzle. He's at number 3 on my list. And you really covered everything that I would want to talk about. So let me hit you with number 4. In Moritz Seider, he still deserves to be on this list, Steele, and I know he's been disappointing this year. That's for sure. And he may have regressed a little bit fantasy-wise. He has still got 25 points, 82 shots, and what's impressive to me is, and what I think is really indicative of what he's going to do the rest of his career, is he's had this setback. And the Red Wings have had their setback, even though we saw all the talent that they added. He's still got 120 block shots, Steele. 115 hits, and he has 26 points and getting better. He is only 21 years old. He's the reigning Calder Trophy winner, and I think because of his disappointing start and how bad the Red Wings have been, this guy's not getting nearly enough credit. His game is nasty. He plays both ends of the rink very, very well, and at 6'4", 200-plus pounds, there aren't many other players, Steele, dynasty keeper-wise, that I wouldn't be willing to go after Moritz Seider and sacrifice some decent pieces. This guy is a pillar of your fantasy team for keeper dynasty moving forward. And to me, at his age, definitely deserving of at least in the mix of top 10, top 5. And he's number 4 on my list, Stutzle number 3.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably the one player I have to disagree on. He's still a special player, but he would have to be in the honorable mentions for me. Right at the top, though, like just right
Calder Trophy winner here, still has 25 points. Disappointing, but at 21, it's like, come on, man, we can't give up on him just yet.
No, I'm not giving up on him. I just think there's 5 better players who are 22 or under right now.
Yeah.
So that's just me. Look, he is a pillar of any keeper fantasy league out there. I like at number 3, I've got Andrei Svechnikov. I think he gets overlooked quite a few times. This might be a little bit of a cop-out because he is turning 23 in the next month. So
it's all good.
It's all good, but 42 points in 51 games, I can see it's going to be close, but he can definitely get his first 70-point season this year. He's 22 years old, turning.
He's at 32 points, so you think he's going to get 70?
No, he's at 42 points.
Oh, okay.
In 51.
I was like,
42 points in 51
you know me
games.
with the numbers, Steele.
Yeah, I know. You and the numbers and the ages. Look, he needs 28. He needs 28 more points to get to 70. So 28 points in 31 games. It's going to be close. I think he can do it. Nonetheless, he is a consistent 20-goal scorer. He has 30 goals in his arsenal. He did it last year or 2 years ago. He hits a ton as well. You don't really see stars again. 105 hits on the season. He shoots the puck a ton, 170 shots on the season as well.
Whoa.
Again, we know how stingy of a defensive team. They're more focused on the defense and the offense. The offense comes again with Aho, Nakash now playing, and Svechnikov. But at 22 years old, turning 23, this kid has a ton left more to showcase the world right now. I love this player. I traded for him a couple of months ago. He's been stellar. I like Svechnikov at 3.
I think also, and hit me with your take on this, but when I look at what's going on in Carolina, you and I think, have talked about the one thing they can do better is score more goals and maybe
Yeah.
bring in some talent. Obviously, Pacioretty's injury hinders them. They have some of those minor setbacks with some injuries, but considering the talent that they do have in that mix deal, I think he might just be a little bit of a victim of they're just one piece away, in my opinion,
Yeah.
right? One offensive piece to really balance out that top six. And I think what maybe is most overlooked, and again, kudos to you for highlighting it, is his sandpaper. He does bring those hits. That's
Yeah.
huge for a guy who can score 30 goals. There's not many guys out there who can bring that 30-goal caliber and throw the body around with that regularity. So that combination is obviously huge come any fantasy format. I think you and I have the both same top two players, but I know we're going to have some different bets. Let's get to both right after this break, pal.
We are. I'm very intrigued to get to the big time bets. Like you said, 7 games on the schedule. This
Got a big flip triple dip ready to roll.
I also have a big flip triple dip.
Boom!
Let's go, baby. But we got to let you know that this episode is also brought to you by our friends at Built Bar. If you're looking for a delicious but healthy treat, then you need to go right now and get some Built Bars. And if you're like me, where you want to eat healthier, you don't want to compromise the taste, then man, oh man, do I have the thing just for you. You got to try Built. And with Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they are so delicious. You won't think they're good for you, but they are actually the perfect snack for you before or after the gym. That's when I like my Built Bars. And what makes Built Bars so good is they are covered in 100% real chocolate. My absolute favorite. And they come in unbelievable flavors as well, like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. And now you don't even have to wait and order them on Built.com. You still can do that. But now you can go to your local Walmart or local Sam's Club and pick yourself up a box. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today. Walk to the pharmacy section and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs.
Hi, this is Walker Mayo, one of the local hosts of the Locked On Podcast Network. Instead of hearing me right now, we could be talking about your business and helping you reach local, passionate sports fans just like yourself. Unlike any other podcast, Locked On gives your local company the unique ability to reach local podcast listeners. If your business wants to connect with local sports fans that are well-educated with disposable income, then let's put your company right here on this Locked On podcast. Local fans love to support local businesses. Text the word advertising to 33777 or visit lockedonpodcast.com/advertising and let us know who you are. Our team will assist you to achieve advertising success with Locked On. Once again, text the word advertising to 33777 or visit lockedonpodcast.com/advertising. We look forward to hearing from you.
Go grab some Built Bars today, and you'll definitely thank me later. And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. We appreciate all the love, all the support that our listeners show us all the time. Hit the sub, hit the follow button, go leave a review, leave some comments on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for all the support. We're going to get to big time bets, but we got to finish off with our top 2 players, 22 years old or younger. It's fairly obvious. I think if we didn't have the same top 2 here, something's clearly wrong with one of us.
Yeah.
My second player is Rasmus Dahlin. 55 points in 49 games. He's smashed his career high, 53 points in 80 games last year. Absolutely incredible what he's doing. He's become exactly what the Buffalo Sabres needed him to be. He scores goals. He makes plays. He's a +19 on the season. That's why he's at number 2. But Jack Hughes at number 1. He has to be at number 1.
Yes, sir.
35 goals, 67 points in 50 games. And that was the one big question mark with Hughes. Can he stay healthy? He has. He's been great. He's scoring goals. He's now top 3, I believe, in goals on the season, ahead of Thompson and Robertson now.
Yes, sir.
He has been incredible to watch.
He really has, Steele. He really has. And to me, this is a big reason why this New Jersey Devils team is knocking around on the doorstep for those top 3 positions in the Metro Division. Yeah. Yes, that crazy heater that they went on, big reason why. They've had their ups and downs since. But Jack Hughes, and you and I mentioned it, go back run the tapes back, Steele, when we were talking about top centerman in the game. I had Jack Hughes right at number 1. I think he was 4th on your list, and you and I saw differing opinions. It helps me that he's gone on this healthy heater, obviously. But this kid is just special, and he was drafted 1st overall for a reason. And oh, wait, Rasmus Dahlin, also drafted 1st overall for a reason. And very quickly, before I finish on Jack Hughes, let me just get to this Rasmus Dahlin point. The Buffalo Sabres are in the top half of the league in goals against. They allow a lot of goals. How is Rasmus Dahlin at almost plus 20 this year? That's how good he's been. And really, what's impressed me the most with Dahlin, Steele, he's now becoming an intimidating force physically. This keeps coming up, and this is how you are a top fantasy piece. You do it at all angles. And Jack Hughes might not bring that physicality, and that's just how good. Wow, that was a good segue. That's just how good he is offensively. 35 goals, Steele. There's not many guys in this league that can skate like Jack Hughes. In my opinion, he's one of the top 5 fastest, best skaters in the league. That might be a subjective thing. When I see that guy go, hard to catch up to Jack Hughes. And honestly, to me, both of those players just really starting to settle into their comfort level at the NHL level, and they're going to continue to get better. And both of those teams, Steele, Sabres and Devils, who have been at the short end of the stick for the last, 10, 12 seasons?
Long time.
They've paid their dues, and the rest of the Eastern Conference better pay attention because both of those teams, really good young cores, and they're starting to produce.
Look, 21, 22 years old. These are the players that we are going to be watching for the next decade, maybe even a little bit longer.
Hopefully longer, yeah.
Hopefully longer. But let's get over to big time bets. Wrap this up with a little bow for Thursday's episode. Here we go, baby.
I hope you did that on purpose for your bets. With a little bow, Horvat, let's go.
I should have done it. He's not in my bets.
You're going to my bets then, pal, because that was money for me. I thought, it's almost like we planned this. I think you kind of got to let me go off now with my 3, if you don't mind.
I think I know where you're going, but let everybody else know. Rattle all 3 off.
We're going to go out with a bow indeed, my friend. Islanders on the money line. When I take a look at this matchup, Steele, you're going to have to pay a lot of juice for the New York Islanders at home against the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver is on the second half of a back-to-back, and they are a bad team. Colin Delia is likely going to be in the cage, and I love this spot already for the Islanders. And then I take a little quick look into the numbers. The Islanders have points against the Canucks, and you know me lately, Steele, with looking at these head-to-heads.
With the points.
Confirmed. The Islanders, 9 out of 10 games with points against the Canucks. They have played very well against this Canucks team. This is a tough spot for Vancouver. Islanders on the money line. I'm doing a same game FanDuel parlay, FanDuel special, same game parlay here because there's no value betting them individually. Give me the Islanders on the money line. And I like the under, Steele. The New York Islanders have been playing smothering hockey, and I know a lot of the Canucks games have been going over. This is going to be a really tough spot for the Canucks to get up. Give me Sorokin. My boy, Sorokin, to have a big night, and I'm finishing it off, baby. I had Horvat anytime point, but I'm going to get a little bit better with the odd for the same game parlay, and I'm giving it the Bo Horvat anytime goal. His line right now with Josh Bailey and Barzal, he's going to get fed the puck a lot. He doesn't need to distribute like he did in Vancouver. He's going to get fed, and he's going to be the trigger man now on that top line, in my opinion. Josh Bailey is a passing first player. Barzal, we know, racks up the apples. Islanders money line. Under 6, and give me the Horvat anytime goal. Going to be juicy odds. Same game parlay. I like the Horvat anytime goal, though, as my lock of the night.
I love it. Hey, you must have listened to the solo episode yesterday because I was hot on the Islanders. I was Bo Horvat, Barzal. I think the fantasy value goes, small sample size, though. 2 games in,
small sample size.
Look good.
This team, though, honestly, Steele, and not to always pump your tires, you said at the start of the season, if all things go well for the Islanders team, which it hasn't, they're good enough defensively and the goaltending is good enough that they can be in the mix in that top 3 in the Metro. Things haven't gone to plan, and they went out and got their guy. And now this defense, now the goaltending, They have a little bit of fire under their bonnet. And now I'm going to say the Islanders are a team to watch in the second half. Clearly, that's not a big, bold take. But that defense, Steele, is very stingy. And that's the kind of thing that gets you into the playoffs. So I'm going to ride that right now. Like I said, same game parlay, Islanders money line. Give me the under and Horvat anytime goal as my lock of the night.
I am going to do the exact same as you, actually. 4-game win streak for the Islanders. I'm going to add that to a separate parlay. But I also have a big flip triple dip over here. I'm looking at that Florida Panthers San Jose Sharks game.
Okay.
Panthers on the money line. I was thinking about the puck line, but the last 3 matchups or 4 matchups between these two teams have been a 1-goal game. Nonetheless, the Panthers have won their last 8 games against the San Jose Sharks.
Yes,
so I'm taking the Panthers on the money line. That's why look, like you said, not enough juice with that on a solo bet. So I'm adding it to a parlay. Panthers money line. I'm adding that with Panthers Sharks over 6.5 goals. It's just bound to go over 6.5 because the last 10 or 11 games, I believe, for the Panthers have gone over the number. It always just
sounds about right.
Crazy crooked game. Whether they lose or win, it's always over 6.5 goals. So I'm adding that into the parlay as well. And Matthew Tkachuk over 1.5 points in this matchup for my lock of the night. The guy's on fire right now. I believe he has 4 straight games with multi-point games. Let me just get that.
I got it for you right here, brother. He has 12 points over his last 5 games, and he's coming off a 5-point performance, 2 goals and 3 assists, and 4 straight games, multi-point games.
Absolutely incredible what Matthew Tkachuk has done this year with the Florida Panthers. They're going to need him a huge amount if they want to crack a wild card spot or get into the top 3. Those are my 3 picks. I love all of your 3 picks as well, Flip. So I am definitely going to be parlaying those all together. Let's do it. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. We are available Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time on your favorite podcast platform, including YouTube. So hit the sub button, hit the follow button. And thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode with Flip and I. Have a great day. Good luck with all your bets out there. And we shall see you back here again tomorrow.
Peace.
Hi, this is Walker Mayo, one of the local hosts of the Locked On Podcast Network. Instead of hearing me right now, we could be talking about your business and helping you reach local, passionate sports fans just like yourself. Unlike any other podcast, Locked On gives your local company the unique ability to reach local podcast listeners. If your business wants to connect with local sports fans that are well-educated with disposable income, then let's put your company right here on this Locked On podcast. Local fans love to support local businesses. Text the word advertising to 33777 or visit lockedonpodcast.com/advertising and let us know who you are. Our team will assist you to achieve advertising success with Locked On. Once again, text the word advertising to 33777 or visit lockedonpodcast.com/advertising. We look forward to hearing from you.
Did you watch every NHL game last night? Of course not. That's impossible. So Locked On brings you Locked On Game to Game NHL. With Locked On Game to Game NHL, we take you inside every arena to every game and give you the Locked On local experts insight. And by the end, it's as though you were at every game. Find Locked On Game to Game NHL on the Locked On NHL feed and follow today. Locked On Game to Game NHL, taking you to every arena for every game with the local experts. Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.